century. Reynolds Coliseum was the iconic home of NC State men's basketball. And tonight, a throwback edition of ACC Hoops, presented by your local Ford dealer as NC State, 4 decades later, after winning the '83 title, returns to Reynolds Coliseum. They're wearing the throwback jerseys tonight as they host Coppin State out of the MEAC. Good evening, everybody. Great to be with you courtside. Evan Lepler with Brian Oliver. He's lit it up in this building before. What's it like coming back to a place that's so memorable for so many reasons?
Evan, what an amazing atmosphere. And you talk about Wolfpack history. I mean, everything starts here. It's just amazing to be able to come back to this gym, and so many memories here. Like you say, I've had a chance to have some very good memories, but the Wolfpack Nation, they have to be excited for all of the things that they've been able to do for the historic of this program.
Heck of an atmosphere in this building, and the Wolfpack looking to bounce back from a loss last Friday to Pittsburgh. Our hardy star to watch is a guy who struggled against the Panthers. We expect Jarkel Joyner to bounce back tonight.
And Joyner's one of those guys, again, is an electrifying scorer. I thought it was interesting when we talked to Kevin Keats. Wasn't really concerned because he knows that this is a guy that's going to work hard, has gotten into the gym. Interested to see how he's able to come out and try to get going early.
0 for 12 against the Panthers. He scored just 1 point, but NC State looking to bounce back. This could be a get-right game of sorts. It is Heritage Night, and a guy who's hoping it's not a get-right game for Joyner is the leader, and a guy who's got a lot of ACC heritage, Coppin State head coach Juan Dixon, former most outstanding player, the 0-2 Final Four for the Terps.
I mean, when you look at the resume of Juan Dixon, look at all of those accolades from this guy. When you talk about Maryland history, I mean, he was one of the guys, first-team All-American, Mr. Do Everything for that program, copped it off with being able to get a national championship. Talked to him earlier. He's excited about this game, thinks that his guy's going to be able to come out fast-paced and play really good defense. They're going to go ahead and give it a whirl.
Just the second ever meeting tonight for Coppin State and NC State, and you can feel the history when you walk in this building. It's cool. It sparkles like a new venue, and yet you feel the ghosts of Wolfpack legends past. A new chapter for the Wolfpack tonight against Coppin State. Tip-off coming up. It's an old school capacity crowd at K-Yow Court, Jim Valvano Arena, inside historic Reynolds Coliseum. Coppin State and NC State on a Tuesday night here in Raleigh. Starting lineups presented by your local Toyota dealers. Sam Sessoms is the guy to watch. He's coming off a 35-point explosion in Coppin State's 3-point win over Loyola Maryland this past Saturday. Nenda Tark, all-conference guy for the Eagles as well. This is a good Coppin State basketball team that expects to compete for a MEAC title, but obviously the Wolfpack are the favorites tonight. The question, can Jarkel Joyner and Jack Clark, who went a combined 0 for 20 from the field on Friday night against Pittsburgh, can they get back going again tonight for Kevin Keats?
Yeah, you see Keats talked about earlier that not allowing their game to suffer if shots don't go. But a lot of times when you're a guy that come off a bad shooting game, you want to be able to get some easy baskets. Interesting to see how those guys start out.
Claire Aubrey throws it up, officiating tonight with Bill Covington Jr. and Ted Valentine. Underway from Reynolds Coliseum. Look at these jerseys, Brian. The same jerseys that the Cardiac Pack wore in the 82-83 season. Terquavion Smith gets his own rebound. Joyner for the reload for 3.
And I guess that shows right now is that for Joyner, again, it's always good to be able to get that first one to go down. NC State's going to put a lot of pressure on Coppin State. When I talked to Juan Dixon, he said that he would prefer to be able to get back in transition and make them force up against their half-court defense.
How about that savvy veteran point guard decision-making by Smith there, giving Joyner the open look instead of reloading himself. Coppin State's answer from the corner won't go. Isaiah Gross too strong. Smith and Joyner both are capable of running the point. Both are capable of filling it up as the shooting guard. Casey Morcell, nothing but net.
Morcell is that guy leading the ACC in three-point percentage, field goal, and then makes. Again, if you're Coppin State, you got to understand the scouting report. Got to force him to put the ball on the floor.
He has developed into one of the top shooters in the league, the Virginia transfer. On the drive, Sessoms doesn't get the roll, but he gets the whistle, and the foul's going on Jack Clark. A couple free throws here for the Penn State transfer, Sam Sessoms. Let's check out our keys to the game. They are presented by your local Ford dealer, Brian.
And Evan, for Coppin State, you got to take care of the rock because this Wolfpack team is really good, leading the league in steals. And then for NC State, pace. You want to be able to turn over your opponent, be able to get out in transition, and get early offense.
This is a Coppin State team that wants to play fast as well. They were 7th nationally in pace a year ago. Not a great three-point shooting team last year. They're better this year. In part because Sam Sessoms has joined the Eagles. He goes 1 for 2 and gets Coppin on the board. Juan Dixon, the leader of Coppin State. Still the all-time leading scorer at the University of Maryland. And it's still sad that Maryland's not in the ACC, but that's another conversation for another day. NC State's first turnover, and Sessoms all the way to the rack, lays it in.
And ever we highlighted Sessoms, and the way that Coppin State's going to spread out North Carolina State, he's going to be the guy who's going to try to touch the paint and get downhill. You saw him a nice finish at the rim.
Terquavion Smith, the leading scorer for the Wolfpack, averaging 16 a game. Morcell rising up, comes up short this time, and into Tark with a rebound. Coppin State 4 and 6. Here's a deep 3 and a brick thrown up there by Daniel Titus, the Australian forward. Inside of the Serbian big man Dusan Mahorcic, and he'll create contact.
Yeah, when we talk about Sam Sessoms, when you look at his penetration, being able to get downhill and being able to absorb contact, Sessoms is one of those guys, again, for NC State. You got to be able to corral him and help because he's going to break you down early.
Tough shot. That's what Terquavion Smith does.
Well, and here's the thing with Smith is that he's going to be able to set you up because you've got to honor that three-point shot because he can shoot it right inside the half court. Has been able to do a better job this year of absorbing contact, and that mid-range game has been on fire.
Just a big-time scorer, capable of making the tough shots. Mahorcic deflects the pass. Joyner for Mahorcic. Getting a little fancy up and under, but it finds Morcell to Smith. 3!
Always those second chance opportunities, and you see Smith letting the Wolfpack Nation hear it. Again, that's one of the guys, again, you got to stay glued to him because you do not want to see him get going early.
Sessoms again wins the battle on the dribble and lays it off to Tark for the easy deuce.
And again, Sessoms being able to penetrate. Again, Wolfpack got to do a better job of being able to come over that last time, being able for the dump off for the easy basket.
This end of the floor, NC State 4 of 7, 3 for 5 from deep. And which way they're going to go. And a flopping call is the signal from Bill Covington Jr., which is going to be a Class B technical and 1 free throw.
Evan, again, we talk about Terquavion Smith, and again, that last time being able to corral the guy behind him and finish up. But then when you know, again, give him daylight. It doesn't matter if you challenge. It looked like he may have gotten hit right there. Nothing but the bottom of the net. NC State off to a nice run.
Long conversation between two veteran officials, Covington and Valentine, whether that would be a flop warning or an offensive foul. And looks like Joyner's going to step to the line for 1. What do you think about this new rule this year, Brian?
Well, again, a lot of times when you see a bigger guy playing against a smaller guy, it looked like he did kind of over-exaggerate that. Mahorcic is one of those guys, again, definitely has the advantage by probably about 30 pounds.
Looked like some pretty substantial contact, too.
Yeah, and again, you know, sometimes they say ball don't lie, but for a guy like Joyner, you know, if I'm coming off a game where I did not shoot it well, you always want to be able to get those early baskets to be able to get your confidence flowing.
83% free throw shooter, but this is that one. Still Wolfpack ball. DJ Burns into the game for the first time. He's averaging about 8 points, 4 rebounds a game off the bench. Smith on the drive. And a foul on the rebound action going against Coppin State.
And watch how shifty Terquavion Smith is. And again, he's got bounce. You see going to the basket and then obviously being able to draw that foul. And I think one of the things, too, is that when you get the evaluation from the NBA scouts, this is a guy that you know he can score, but you want to be able to see what his playmaking ability is, being able to not only create for himself, but create for others.
I'm going a little out of my lane here. Is it inappropriate to say a little Dr. J going up with a left hand like
It's
that?
not. I mean, you actually dated yourself. I mean, you let me know earlier the distance as far as how the age is, but when you see him being able to go up and maneuver with that one hand, you see the last 2 games, 14 points, 8 for 24. Kevin Keys, again, wants to make sure that his guys not only get going offensively, but he doesn't want to see them, if they're not shooting well, let it affect other parts of their game.
1 of 2 for Smith, who's got a quick 6. Justin Steers to the basket. And the foul on DJ Burns. Justin Steers gives some offense to Coppin State off the bench. Averages basically the same exact point total per game as DJ Burns, about 8 points. Veteran from Philly, and the free throw shooting for both teams has left something to be desired early on here. LJ Thomas into the game, the freshman from Florida for NC State. Best game of the year for Steers against Georgetown. They took the Hoyas to overtime before falling short again against Patrick Ewing's team. So LJ Thomas will run the offense after Steers goes 1 for 2. Tough catch for Morcell in the corner. Shot clock at 10. Joyner going to work. Step back, 3. And the rebound pulled down by Cameron Blue.
Good defensive possession by Coppin State. And again, they want to be able to get a stop. You see Sessoms being able to penetrate.
He's a nifty dribbler. He's slippery.
He is, man. He puts a lot of pressure on them. Right now, you look at both teams going at it. So far, NC State doing a good job. Early up by 6.
ACC basketball is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. And by CPI Security. CPI home security that protects what matters most. So many memories in this building. National championships forever remembered. Terquavion Smith trying to create a little history for himself in a Wolfpack jersey, wearing that old school state uniform. He's got 6 points. He also has 2 assists early in this game.
Well, I like the way how he's come out and he's let the game come to him. Again, you know he's an electrifying scorer, but you want to see his playmaking ability, being able to get others involved. Much different team than they had last year. He's got some more offensive weapons. Again, Kevin Keys talks about him being able to allow the bigs to be able to eat and then set up his other teammates.
Sessoms going back to work. He was 15 for 22 from the floor on Saturday. 1 for 3 at the outset tonight. Inside of the big man, Burns. Oh, he had Thomas, he missed him. Takes it himself. And the rebound tipped and controlled by Steers. Sessoms quickly ahead, and Cameron Blue throws it down.
And again, we talked about the fact that Coppin State wants to be able to get the rebound and get out fast. Juan Dixon talked about the pace is important for those guys.
Burns in the lane for 2.
Burns with that nice soft touch. And again, big man is definitely giving them an opportunity. Somebody they can throw the ball into that can go get a bucket.
Today's DJ Burns' 100th college basketball game, including his 3 years at Winthrop. Alex Rojas from the corner. And the rebound pulled down by Thomas. Joyner. You never know when he's going to explode to the rim. Clark Had it poked away, recovered, sets up Joyner for a great look, and he hits it.
Nice jump shot by Joyner. And again, Clark doing a good job of realizing that he almost lost that ball and getting over the Joyner. Joyner off to a good start in the first half.
2 for 2 from deep today. Very different story from Friday. Steers knocks down the long 2 from the top of the key.
How about Steers and the fact that he's come out looking for his offense, realizing that you're not going to have Burns is going to come out there. You see Joyner with the blow by to get to the basket for the basket.
There's that nuclear quickness. He hit the turbo boosters quickly.
Again, Evan, we talked about with Coppin State and the fact that they want to be able to get up and down. You see how quickly they're able to pass the ball ahead. You got guys that are running, being able to finish Blue with the electrifying dunk. You see, and then to turn it around, you see State. Joyner being able to go absorb that contact for the finish. He's off to a really good start this first half.
I would not be surprised if we have a high-scoring one tonight. As you said earlier, both these teams want to play fast.
And it's essential for North Carolina State. They want to be able to turn you over and then get out, and you see Joyner come up short. Coppin State, they're going to try to force you into that half-court defense and run every chance they get.
Foul is on Steers. He picked up his second. Blue can't connect with the rebound. Last touch by State. NC State, as opposed to the other Coppin State, the kids from Baltimore. Juan Dixon in his 6th season at the helm of Coppin State. He was a special assistant to Mark Turgeon at Maryland for a year. Coached a women's school in D.C. Corner jumper won't go. Sessoms wins the foot race to the rebound, then lost it, but it's found by Tark. Poked away. It's a weird possession. Goodness gracious. Hopefully he's all right. Look out. Into Tark. Into the crowd.
Again, you see Tark going into the stands.
So you want to sit courtside?
Well, right. And, you know, I think he owes that young lady a drink.
Usually you have the drink before you jump in their lap, and that's a different story. Tark, I think, apologizing. No one could hang on to the basketball that trip.
Well, and I think what you realize is that both teams are going to play a high-octane type of offense. And again, right now, defense, you see Rose come up with a steal.
Another turnover. It's a blocking foul and a bucket for Sam Sessoms.
You see Gross come down for Quavion Smith. I don't think he was set. Again, you know, Wolfpack fans upset about that, and I think that that was the correct call. You've got to have both feet set. I thought he was still moving a little bit.
And my mistake, obviously. Isaiah Gross with the bucket. The foul's on Smith, his first. Gross completes the three-point play. Now, Kevin Keats felt that Friday against Pittsburgh was really the first time this season when his team just didn't play a good, crisp basketball game.
And I thought it interesting because he said that this is a test of their chemistry because it's always good when you're winning. How would they react after coming off of a bad loss against Pitt, having a couple of days? Right now, it seems like they've come out and they've been energetic, sharing the ball, and then being able to come up with opportunities. As you see Smith wide open.
Deep three, Terquavion Smith.
And again, when you talk about reading the scouting report, that's the guy that when the shot goes up, you want to stay close to. You see Mahorches with a huge hustle play, being able to get back and deflect that ball.
Kevin Keats almost got a lap full of the big Serbian right here.
How about the big man showing that 4.4 combine speed, being able to get back? I'm a little upset Kevin Keats didn't catch the big guy.
I'm with you. He's got his game face on. He's focused, especially after that block charge call didn't go his way. That's a kick. I like Juan Dixon. Kevin Keats in year 6 at his current job. Here's Sessoms, always looking to attack. Slings it to the corner for Blue. Long rebound tracked by Smith. Another deep shot.
Whoa, are you kidding me? Man. Good God, what range. And again, you can tell when he pulled it up and you see Joyner come up to steal.
Unable to pay it off. Long rebound in midcourt. Smith steals it away. Passes up the shot. Gives it to the corner. Breon pass knocks down his first three of the season.
How about Terquavion Smith comes down. Huge three, then gets a steal. Instead of shooting it, gets his teammate involved. What a back-to-back play.
9-0 run for NC State. Terquavion Smith via the shot or the pass, getting it done for the Pack.
Evan, we talked about North Carolina State and the fact that this is a team that can knock down the three, and they've come out and they've found ways to be able to get it early. And when it's been a three ball again, everyone's getting involved from Joyner to Smith to Morcell. It seems like what they've been able to do is to expand this league, be able to get Coppin on their heels, and you've seen them already 7 for 10 from behind the arc. And again, how about the long distance shot by Terquavion Smith? And when he's not doing it, he's going to pass it over to his boy Pass to be able to get it going. And right now, you look at what they've been able to do. 3 for 7 from 2 points, but phenomenal 7 for 10 from behind the arc. Coppin State has done a not so good job of being able to knock it down, but the guy that's been leading the way, Terquavion Smith with 12 points, 3 for 4, 3 boards, and 3 dimes.
Let the triple-double watch begin for Terquavion. Almost the exact opposite from a shot chart perspective for Coppin. Eagles are 5 of 6 from inside the arc, but they're 0 for 6 from deep. They got to knock one of these down. Rojas can't do it. Rebound tip to Sessoms.
If you're Coppin State, what you do, great pass by Sessoms. Nice dime over there to Tart. You chip away at this thing. Again, North Carolina State has shot the eyes out of it. You have to get some stops in the half court. This is the team, again, when they can get some turnovers, they can get out in transition.
Ross back to the corner for Joyner for 3.
And here's the thing is that for Coppin, you got to do a better job and stay closer. You got a guy in Joyner that you know that's been knocking it down. You knew that NC State's already hit 7 threes. You got to stay home and force Mahorchich to make a play.
Oh, incredible block. Ernest Ross says no. Joyner to the corner. Smith got it.
Goodness. Oh, my God. Did the ball even stay in his hand more than 2 seconds? Great penetration by Joyner, realizing Terquavion Smith is being wide open. Again, how about the three-point shooting for NC State in this first half?
They've got 9 threes in 12 attempts. Barely played 10 minutes. Foul going on Ross here.
We highlight NC State, and this is how they're leading the ACC in three-point makes. And again, you see penetration, well, the first one is actually Joyner being able to get wide open, get those feet set in the corner. And after that, the penetration, being able to get the ball. You see 2 guys running over at Smith. He's like, you know what? A half a second too late, I'm going up for it. Phenomenal stretch by NC State in this first half.
15-2. Where's the run?
And when you look at it, we talked about the fact that they didn't shoot the ball well. I think you can say that they've been able to right the skid. 9 for 12 today from behind the arc. And I think when Kevin keeps talking, he wasn't really that concerned. You understand, he's got guys that are going to get into the gym, work on it, and they come out and turn on, not so much with the three-point shooting, but being able to play defense and then get back and not playing out of the net.
I think it's a great point, Brian. And Kevin Keats was not particularly concerned. And, of course, all coaches fret about how their team will bounce back from a disappointing performance. And he gave Pittsburgh credit, but he also said we got a lot of good looks that we just didn't hit. They're showing that they can knock those shots down tonight. Smith, again, and the
Stop
foul.
it. Stop it. Stop it. Turn the AC up, baby, because Terquavion Smith is on fire. Again, watch the penetration. And again, you see the shooter goes over to him, fouled the and one in the bucket. Look at him. He's like, yeah, baby. Turn my mic up. I am on fire.
He's 5 of 6 from deep, 6 of 7 overall. He's only played 7 minutes, Brian. He's got 18 points, make it 19.
But the thing that's really impressive is that how NC State is sharing the basketball. It's not just Terquavion Smith, it's all of the other guys. They're turning defense to be able to get out in early transition. They're spreading Coppin out. And again, knocking down shots too.
Going back to the Wolfpack. Wow.
What a display of shooting. And you can tell by that stride. Yeah, you look at the smile. He's like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm in my bag tonight.
If you were concerned as a Wolfpack fan, oh, they're not a PNC, maybe they won't shoot as well at Reynolds.
And here's the thing. They're up 38-15. Their last 6 field goals have all been three-pointers.
Yeah. 10 of 13 now. Incredible. Inside. Maharchich stripped by Tark. Nenda Tark. No. Smith with his 4th rebound. We're going to be keeping track of that number. Smith leaves it for Clark. Clark gets his own rebound and then lost it on the attack.
You see Maharchich, he's like, hey, man, I know we're shooting threes, but I'm running. Give your boy a touch.
Tark somehow keeps possession. Going against Morcell. Good hands. Clark with a steal. Maharchich gets the touch he was looking for and pays it off.
And here's the thing, you keep seeing Maharchich run and run. And that last time, you pay your bigs off because you're knocking down threes. But how about you see Smith a little over-aggressive trying to come up with that steal. But one of the things we talked about NC State was the pace.
That's his 2nd foul, too, on Smith.
Well, and you see, we'll talk about the pace. A lot of times, the big guy, you want to reward him because big guys want to eat, too. And you see Maharchich being able to run and come up, and the pace by NC State is not only created by knocking down the threes, it's the aggression on defense, getting deflections, and getting into their early offense.
Wolfpack scored 107 against FIU. They're on pace for like 135, 140 right now. Sam Sessoms not having a bad half himself. He's got 5.
Sessoms is showing that he is a really good player because of his ability to be able to break down the defense and get to a spot. We've seen a couple of times being able to get the blow-bys for the early, but they've got to get some stops because, again, North Carolina State has been really efficient offensively.
Ball finds Morcell, now Clark. 6 to shoot. Morcell, step back. Rebound pulled down by Blue. Mike Hood knocks down the first 3 of the night for Coppin State. And Kevin Keats immediately calls a timeout. Did not like the transition defense.
Well, and here's the thing. You don't want to get too content with the 3 ball and not get back in defense. And again, for Coppin, you chip away at this thing. This is a team, again, if you play good, solid defense, you get yourself an opportunity to get back in it.
Timeout on the floor taken by NC State. Kevin Keith can't be too disappointed. His team has made 10 threes already. Here's one of the 5 for Terquavion. ACC basketball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By the Works Nitro, available at worksnitro.com. And by the Fresh Market, voted #1 best supermarket in America. 2,269 points in his College Park career. He's the all-time leading scorer. He's #2 in Terrapin history in steals, and obviously he cut down the nets in 2002, the most outstanding player of the Final Four.
Yeah, in order for Coppin State to get back in this game, they're going to need some guys with a Juan Dixon-esque type of effort right now. Again, down 20. You see that they've gone to a zone. Got to get some stops and be able to, again, chip away at this thing in the last 740.
Juan Dixon, born and raised about 5 minutes from Coppin State. Hired by athletic director Derek Carter, who said he was captivated by Juan's passion and tenacity. This Coppin team certainly in contention in the MEAC, lost in the final last year. One of One of the reasons Sam Sessoms came to Coppin State is he believed he could help get this team over the hump and to the NCAA tournament. So foul call on Casey Morcell, sending Justin Steers to the line. Sessoms 2 years at Binghamton, 2 years at Penn State. Now here at Coppin. Now a quick message from Works.
Any project with gas-like power without the gas, fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
1 of 2 at the line for Steers. Quavion Smith on the bench after picking up that second foul and unable to keep it alive. Joyner tumbles across the end line and gets helped up by a teammate and Mr. Wolf.
Have you seen 2 turnovers, 2 back-to-back turnovers? Again, still plenty of time for Coppin State. Again, you see North Carolina State turn the ball over, extending their pressure.
Mr. Wolf almost left you hanging earlier tonight when you were giving him a fist bump. There's a little simmering yellow jacket, Wolfpack.
I was going to say, I was kind of feeling a little bit of the tension there.
Disrespect. Ryan Oliver playing for the Ramblin' Wreck had some memories in this building. Jack Clark for 3. Clark still hasn't found his range, but he comes up with a steal. Clark to Joyner. And that rebound landed on the end line. Coppin State ball. What do you remember about the atmosphere in this building compared to some of the other atmospheres that you played in the late 80s, early 90s?
So again, not to date myself, but going back into the late 80s and early and that 90 season, I remember coming here and playing against the likes of Chris Corciani and then Rodney Monroe, and I remember their fans being very, very into it. This being a really loud place. Again, not one of my more favorite places to play because, again, they always had, a great fan base. And, again, those Jim Valvano teams are always teams that are well coached. They play really high-octane offense and play defense. But then, again, if you're a college basketball fan and during those times, I enjoyed the competition.
Coach Cremens didn't sub you out of games very much, right? You played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, especially in that 1990 team between me and Dennis Scott and Kenny Anderson. Shout out Bobby Cremens, my guys, Lethal Weapon 3. But it was definitely a time where we played a lot of minutes. Like I said, that high-octane offense that we had was definitely a good run.
Well, speaking of a good run, it's an 8-0 run for Coppin State. Burns can't hit it. The Eagles trying to scrap their way back into this one. Sessoms tied up by pretty good defense from Breon Pass.
Good defense by Pass.
Were NC State fans particularly rude or aggressive or something compared to some of the other ACC
fans? Are you
fans?
really going to ask me that question knowing that I've got NC State fans like 2 feet behind me? The NC State fans were amazing. They were polite. Right. They were courteous.
Now you're just making stuff up. 5:51 to go in the half, and timeout called by Coppin State. There's Cozell McQueen, member of the 83 national champs, 4th round pick in the 85 draft.
Cozell looking sharp,
jacket.
man. You know what? I love the fit. I mean, you can tell that looks like he still might be able to go out and give you about maybe 10 points and about 12 rebounds. Cozell, no. He said, don't put that on me, B.O. He said, don't do that, man. Come on.
That was incredible timing. Jarkel Joyner, 1 point in 38 minutes on Friday. He's got 11 points in 14 minutes so far tonight. Quavion Smith on the bench with the 2 fouls. He's got 19 in just 9 minutes on the court. I wonder if we'll look back in that second foul might cost him a triple-double.
Well, and what we looked at earlier, it looked like it was going to be a rout by North Carolina State. Coppin has been able to chip away at this thing. And again, you still got plenty of time in this first half.
Wolfpack has been stuck on 40 for a while.
And here's the thing, what you've seen, the adjustment. Coppin State has done a better job getting back in transition defense. And even though NC State is getting the stop, being able to get back, you see nice pass by Burns.
And a little pirouette and finish from Casey Morcell.
And this is one of the things you don't hear a lot about Burns. He's a guy that you can throw the ball in and not only gives you an opportunity to throw it in for a bucket. His first option is to look for that backside cutter.
Bad pass stolen by Morcell. Showtime for Joyner.
And this is where this North Carolina State team thrives. Again, we talk about their three-point shot-making ability. This is also a team that leads the conference in steals, and they're very active. Kevin Keys talks about being able to have guys with active hands and being able to create offense from good defense. You just saw it right there.
10 points off 7 Coppin turnovers. Step back 3 for Hood won't go, and Morcell grabs another rebound. Getting some first half minutes tonight. Inside Burns had it smacked away by Sessoms. Morcell, the leaner. Sessoms the other way. And a bumping foul going against Joyner. Having a chat with Bill Covington Jr. right at the scorer's table. That puts Coppin in the bonus, so 1-1 here for the Eagles. 6'11" Slovenian sophomore Luka Tokaučić is in the game for the first time for Coppin State. And Sessoms will shoot the 1-1. Four for 10 from the free throw line in this first half for the Eagles.
And here's the thing, is that you have to take advantage of opportunities of being able to knock down shots. You see great ball movement.
Jack Clark still not finding the range. Joyner off the steal. Joyner fouled by Sessoms. Some friendly banter between those two fellows. And we'll get ourselves a timeout. NC State creating offense from their defense. Darkel Joyner having a heck of a half. Jaquavion Smith enjoying a Tuesday night in Raleigh. Amongst the sellout crowd at Reynolds Coliseum, a guy that never has to pay for a ticket around here, Tarek Wittenberg, the championship-winning assist, we can call it that, right?
Absolutely. D. Witt in the house. Talk about Wolfpack greatness right there, man. That's royalty right there, my man. D. Witt in the building.
Wolfpack legends who are here tonight.
I'm sure if I asked him, he was like, B.O., I can still give you about 25 or 30 because D. Witt was one of those guys that could knock it down, man. I'm sure he probably still got a nice stroke.
Yeah. They're going to officially honor the 83 team in February when Wake Forest comes to PNC. That's the game that the most members of the 83 team could make, but several are still in the local greater Raleigh-Durham triangle area, so they are no strangers to Wolfpack hoops, even 40 years later. What's going on from the free throw line, Brian?
I was going to say, as well as NC State has shot the ball from behind the arc right now, only 2 for 6.
Coppin's 4 for 10. NC State's now 3 for 7. Comfortable 22-point lead. And Sessoms turned away. Ernest Ross with his second rejection of the night.
And I was already ready to annoy Sessoms as that. You see, good God, what a block. Ross comes over and said, no, your request has been denied.
Uh-oh. Injured Eagle in the corner. Isaiah Gross, not sure if he slipped on a wet spot or what happened. But the athletic training staff is going to come check on Gross. Played at Eleanor Roosevelt High School in Maryland.
You see the play over there, and it seemed like
ankle just kind of turned on him.
Yeah, you know, sometimes that when you're on that floor, you may step awkwardly. At least he's able to walk off.
That's good.
By himself.
Guy's had an injury-plagued career. He's in his 4th year at Coppin. Redshirted his first season with an injury. NC State, all things considered, has done a pretty good job on Sessoms at this end of the floor. Coppin still just 1 of 11 from 3. Make it 1 for 12.
You notice that every time a shot goes up, Coppin State is not really sending that many guys to the ball. You see the blow by Joyner.
Morcell, a couple steps closer, in and out. Park with another rebound. Sessoms kicks it. Hood, short, gets it back. Pretty good straight-up defense from Ross, and Mahorchich rips it down.
Mahorchich is one of those guys who's playing really hard. I love the fact that understands that his role on this team is to rebound, set picks, and he's going to get a touch every now and then because defense is going to force out and have to guard these three-point shooters.
Terquavion Smith, air ball. Maybe a heat check moment there. Impressive bounce pass ahead to Blue. Been a while since the Eagles have scored, Brian.
Yeah, I attribute that to good half-court defense. NC State doing a good job of being able to corral. You see a good pass.
And they had it on the doorstep, but Ross comes up with a loose ball. And Smith fouled by Blue.
And again, when you try to get up and corral Smith, because again, you know from that distance he can pull it up, and that last time, again, he is super crafty with the ball. You know, we highlight the fact that he's a knockdown shooter. You see him come out and get a little bit of a rest. How about that first half for Terquavion Smith?
He's got 19. Coppin has 23. Smith and Joyner combined have outscored Coppin 33-23. L.J. Thomas to Mahorchich. Travel. No bucket. Seventh NC State turnover.
He's like, really? Come on, man.
It's not quite a Boeheim face, but he's getting closer.
He was like, that wasn't a travel, man. It was a little bit of a Euro step.
Reach-in foul going on L.J. Thomas, and that will send Sessoms to the line, I believe, for a 1-and-1.
I think a little bit of a recap of the first half. When you look at NC State and how we've gotten this 45 points, solid defense, being able to get steals. And again, this is where you look at statistically, this team has excelled so far in the years that they get steals, they shoot the lights out of it. They're leading the league in three-point percentage, numbers made, and then steals. And that's really what we've seen on display tonight.
There are the numbers for Sessoms. Among NCAA leaders, he's right near the top. In Ken Palm's advanced statistics, he does this thing called game MVPs. Only the 7'4" big man for Purdue, Zach Edey, has more game MVPs than Sam Sessoms in college basketball this season.
Well, when we talked with Kevin Keats early and you see Morcell going down on the floor, he knew that they had to put a lot of attention towards Sessoms. As you see Ross being able to battle up.
Look what he
and
found.
Then come up, he's like, look-see here.
You mentioned the offense for NC State, 47.5. I think any coach will take that. They had 40 with about 9 minutes to go in the half, so they've certainly cooled off. And a foul going to send Tark back to the line. Second foul on Morcell. So Morcell and Smith, two Wolfpack starters with 2 fouls apiece. Sending Tark to the line. Joined his big brother Anthony at Coppin State a couple of years ago. MEAC Rookie of the Year in his first season. Encourage you to stay tuned for the fast break presented by your local Ford dealer. That is coming up at some point in the second half. first time tonight we've seen someone go 2 for 2 from the free throw line.
A little more than a minute left to go, and it's been all NC State again. Very impressive in how they've been only to stifle Coppin State. And then the ball movement, obviously the shaping, you see great pass, backdoor by Ross. And again, Mahorch is another one of those guys, again, along with Burns, one of the better big passing bigs in the ACC.
15 assists on 18 field goals for NC State, as Coppin gets 2 more on the drive.
Nice move by Sessoms, being able to get under Mahorch.
How about 15 assists and a half for the Pack?
Well, it's the fact that they have been sharing the ball, and the ball doesn't stick. East-west, penetrate, touch the paint, kick out.
Long 2, Joyner, nope. Rebound comes right to pass, and he takes it into the teeth of the Coppin defense and loses possession. Shot clock off, 10 seconds in the half. Sessoms with the ball on a string, takes it, makes it.
Bucket, nice bucket.
That's 12 for Sessoms. And look, NC State missed its final 6 threes of the half. And Coppin is closer than they were. They trailed by as many as 25. It's a 17-point game with a break, but this guy's just a special player.
Yeah, look at his numbers, 19 points, 5 threes. And again, for Coppin State going into the half, a nice little momentum. And you say only down 17, but earlier NC State had an opportunity to blow the doors off of this thing.
They sure did. Coppin able to close the half on a 9-2 spurt, but NC State's outside shooting the story of the first 20 tonight. 10 first half threes for the Wolfpack in Reynolds Coliseum. We welcome you to tonight's Toyota Halftime Report. The popcorn and candy taste delicious, especially when you make 10 first half threes. NC State back inside historic Reynolds Coliseum. It's so great to be inside Valvano Arena at KYAL Court with Brian Oliver. I'm Evan Lepler. Friday night against Pittsburgh. A couple of the stars were 0 from 3 as a team. They were 22%. Very different story tonight.
And we talked about the fact when we spoke with Kevin Keese earlier, he didn't seem too concerned. I understand why, because again, for North Carolina State, they came out the gate and they were shooting the lights out of it. And I like the fact that how they were able to get their offense from good defense. They passed the ball. And it's always good when you've got guys that can make shots. 10 3-pointers in this first half. Again, it looked like they were about to run away with this thing. And I love the fact that when you saw Jarkel Joyner get going, then you realize that you had Morcell, who's one of the leading 3-point shooters in the league. And then, by the way, that guy, Traquavion Smith. And it just seemed like good ball movement. They were able to get uncontested threes. And again, I can count them all off because, again, you see the distance and how they've been able to shoot them. And I like the fact that they were getting wide open threes. They took their time. They paced themselves. And again, when you're able to get everyone involved, it gets to be contagious, Evan, because, again, the first half, they were just running away, knocking down these threes. 3 after 3 after 3. And I love this one to be able to cap it. Traquavion Smith being able to knock it down and then say, well, you know what? You're going to run out at me. Give me the and one, baby. Letting you know it. Yes. Hit me up on social media because I'm definitely feeling it tonight.
19 points for Smith in the half. You see how they shared the ball. 15 assists. 6 different players had an assist. An impressive offensive display for the Wolfpack. And yet, it felt like they were going to have 65 in the first half through the opening 12 minutes.
Yeah, I thought that there was a moment where they cooled down. Coppin State did a better job of being able to corral them and force them into shooting contested shots. But again, when you look at how they've been able to shoot, I thought it's very impressive. The threes, and again, the assists, the 15. If you're Kevin Keese, you have to be ecstatic with the first half production.
Wolfpack outscore Coppin 30-6 from beyond the arc. The legendary Wolfpack champions are in the house. Members of the 83 title team getting honored here inside historic Reynolds Coliseum at half. Back to our Toyota halftime report from Raleigh, North Carolina, with NC State leading Coppin State 49-32. Great crowd on hand here at Reynolds Coliseum. Courtside with Brian Oliver. The NCAA net rankings came out for the first time this year. Yesterday, NC State among ACC teams, Brian, the 6th highest ACC team. What are your thoughts on where the Wolfpack fit into the picture so far this year?
Well, I think that they've proven them with early success that they're one of those teams that's probably a surprise, because when you look at where they were probably picked, they were probably in the cellar of the ACC, but I like that they've had some really good wins. Again, when you can go ahead and do damage and win the games you're supposed to, and win some of those other games, they had a good win against Butler, against Dayton, and again, played a good Kansas team really close. That allows you to be able to climb in that net. Again, Kevin Keese has got a different ball club. They're a lot older. They've got more depth. They've got bigs. And again, it always helps when you get back and you can knock down the three. You can play really good defense. And this team has shown is that they're one of the leaders in steals. They shoot the ball extremely well. They're going to be dangerous and a team to deal with in the ACC conference.
Well, one ACC game in the books did not go NC State's way, but they'll be down at Miami on Friday night. Cornell will be at Miami. This is a heck of a doubleheader tomorrow night on your regional sports networks. The Big Red are 7-1. Miami's 8-1. And then you got 8-1 Towson, preseason favorites in the CAA, at 7-2 Clemson, coming off just a ridiculous second half where they outscored Wake Forest by 1 billion this past Friday night. So the Tiger tussle at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Towson and Clemson. A look at the standings right now. It is obviously very early, Brian. There are some really good teams in this league. Virginia Tech, they should be ranked. They will be ranked soon for Mike Young.
Yeah, and they've got a team that, again, you know that they're going to shoot the ball well. They're going to defend. You know, Justin Mutz is showing that he is the class of the ACC. How about North Carolina? Preseason #1, they've hit the skids. Hubert Davis has got to do a good job of being there to right the ship down there and get them back on track.
Only the third time in the last 40 years in college basketball that a preseason #1 has fallen out of the top 25. And for the Tar Heels, it's happened really quickly, to the delight of most Wolfpack fans here in Raleigh. NC State up 49-32 at the half tonight. Back for more of our Toyota halftime report with NC State up 17. The Wolfpack fans enjoying themselves. Brian Oliver had a game to remember here at Reynolds Coliseum. February 17th, 1990. Double overtime thriller. What do you remember from that particular night, B.O.?
Well, here's the thing. I see Bobby trying to tell me, hey, Brian, I need you. I need you. Come on. And I remember, again, that magical run. Again, I did not realize 28 points, so I do remember here that this was a tough game against us. Believe it or not, just saw my man Chris Corciani courtside here. I do remember the battles that we used to have against Chris and Rodney Monroe, Brian Howard. Again, right now, coming up with a steal. A little cookie action. You see Corch trying to chase me down there.
Dirty fouls there from Corch in transition.
Yeah, I mean, that takes me way back. And I mean, and one of the things for me being able to play in this gym, in this arena, we had a lot of battles against that NC State team. It was awesome for me, just like I said, just courtside, got a chance to see Chris Corciani. And I remember those battles back then with that fabulous backcourt and him and Rodney Monroe.
What's the relationship like now with guys you competed against then?
I think it's awesome because you think about 30 years ago and being able to come back and see those guys and to be able to relive some of those moments. It's really good because we're tied together in ACC lore.
You feel the history in so many different ways, like when Brian Oliver and Chris Corciani exchanged pleasantries and phone numbers during the break. Wolfpack by 17. We got 20 more minutes of basketball coming up. NC State back in the building that they played in from 1949 to 1999. They've played on average one game a year since then. They're 23-2 inside Reynolds since 99-2000 season when they moved over to PNC. Quavion Smith making a memory tonight. 19 first half points for the Wolfpack, who are looking to get to 8-2 tonight ahead of a trip to Miami. Smith. Hard landing there. Justin steers and does push himself up, which is a good sign. Bill Covington blows the whistle because he saw the landing and heard it the same way we did.
I mean, that was a hard fall, and you can hear just again. Yeah, that was a tough one. Evan, I always thought that the first 5 minutes for each team is always essential. For Coppin State, they were able to score some baskets to kind of cut this lead down to 17. You want to be able to come out and try to strike. They've done a good job at times of being able to penetrate. Sessoms has been able to get to the basket. And for NC State, you do not want to fall in love with that three. You want to go back to creating your offense with great defense.
Sessoms working on Joyner. Tough shot. Joyner comes up with a rebound. Joyner takes it, makes it.
And here's the thing, he puts so much pressure on the defense. When you've got a guy like that that's coming at you full steam, that's got athletic ability to touch the paint, you've got a big that's backtracking, great control of being able to pull up on and knock down that three.
17 now for Joyner, but a quick answer for Coppin. Nenda Tark, he can be a big-time scorer.
Yeah, good penetration by Tark, being able to realize that he had Clark, being able to get to his strong arm. Great physical body, being able to absorb the contact. Again, this Coppin team has not gone away. They're still trying to stay in there. Ron Dixon said that his team, he believes that they're a tough team and that they're going to continue to push for the entire 40 minutes.
Free throw woes continue. How important is it for NC State to get Jack Clark going a little bit? He's averaging 10 points a game, but he's 0 for 11 from the field in his last 3 halves of basketball.
And they're going to need him because, again, you want to make sure that you've got a guy like that that not only is going to be able to give you what you need on the defensive end, you want him to be able to establish some type of rhythm, because when you get into ACC play, you're going to have teams that are going to focus on Smith and Joyner. You need a guy like that to be able to give you something on the offensive end of the floor, too.
Smith badgering Tark for the full 93 feet. Justin Steers has some length to him at 6'7". Back for Blue. He'll try one. Rounded out, rebound, Morcell.
You notice that once the guards get that ball, bigs are out running. And how about the probe there by Joyner? Again, he is a strong guy. You can see it in his bounce. He's like, I'm back. You can't guard me. You can't stop me. All you can do is just to hold.
The season high was 26 against FIU. He was the ACC Player of the Week after his performance down in the Bahamas. Oh, slam follow for Blue, wouldn't stay. Tark on a third chance inside for the Slovenian Luka Tkačić. Joyner and Smith each have 19, and Clark still can't connect. Brian, was there ever a stretch in your career where you didn't make a shot for like 3 consecutive halves, and how'd you deal with it mentally?
I'm going to sound really arrogant. No. Try again. I mean, I understand where you're going at. I mean, there have been times where, you know, I have not been making, I wasn't really shooting great, but the thing is that you always want to try to get an easy bucket. You don't want to let every shot be a complicated 3. You know, try to get some layups, try to go get some easy baskets, get fouled, get to the free throw line. When you can see the ball go into the basket, then it makes it a lot easier for you.
Excellent defense from Mahorcic. Joyner, the contact and the bucket.
Is it safe to say that he's back? Is it safe to say that, you know, that the last game was just a little bit of an anomaly? I mean, watch the fact that penetration, being able to absorb the contact and be able to keep his eyes on the rim. I mean, we knew what we were getting in Taquan Smith and his ability, but how about Joyner and how he's been able to burst on the scene and be that second scorer for NC State?
He's got all 8 for NC State in the opening 3 minutes here in the second half. 22 overall. Open man is Blue for 3.
Good penetration by Sessoms and being able to create that opportunity.
Timeout taken by Juan Dixon to talk after the triple from Cameron Blue. They got one. Wolfpack by 18. just over 3 minutes gone here in the second half, and it's time now for the Fresh Market Discover the Best. Those two guys outscoring Coppin by themselves.
I mean, talking about the best, look at these numbers. Combined 41 points, 9 for 14 from behind the arc, 9 boards and 4 dimes. Again, you talk about the fact that they've outscored Coppin by themselves. This is an amazing run. And again, you know, this Coppin State team is a very good team, but you can see that North Carolina State is really just kind of motoring and cooking on all cylinders right now.
Quavion has been quiet so far in the second half. 0 for 2.
Man,
not anymore.
Nice blow by. And again, Quavion Smith again, able to set up the drive. And you see Sessoms come back on the other end. But again, when we talk about him, I mean, look at the level of explosiveness. And then talk about, look, he is crazy athletic for his size, being able to blow by and finish at the rim.
Third foul on Casey Moore. So you can just see Smith, envision him at the next level, being a microwave guy coming off the bench, scoring points quickly.
Well, and here's the thing. You know that he can shoot the ball. And you know that he's got, you know, he's really quick and he's really crafty with the ball. It's one of those guys, Tim, when you look at how that translates to the next level, he's going to be a handful for other NBA guards to be able to handle. The thing is that can he play, make, and get others involved? And I think that what you were seeing earlier on in this non-conference season, you definitely have to answer that with a huge yes.
He's averaging over 5 assists per game. He's added that to his game. NC State, 4 of its last 5. Smith comes up empty there. Thought he was fouled. Sessoms lost the handle in between his legs. He corralled it. And he's not allowed to do that. NC State ball. Check out this. You don't see this very often.
And again, you see him be able to come through and trap it with my knees. I can do that. He's there.
Juan Dixon, who shared an embrace with Ted Valentine before the game. Those two guys go back a long way. Now arguing about what just transpired. Not sure I've ever seen that call before, Brian.
Yeah, it is a first for everything, and again, nice dime.
Oh, Murchich, better block. Justin Steers knocks it away. Sessoms almost threw it to the second row, but kept alive by Malik Battle.
And see, this is one of the things that Clark does well. He hasn't really had a good offensive night, but he's a good defender on the perimeter, being able to hold his own. You see good dime.
Wow. Right down Broadway, Justin Steers slams it in.
Again, Sessoms has shown not only is a guy that can break down the defense and score at will, his playmaking ability and his vision, his court vision is amazing.
I'll tell you what, this game is not over.
Not at all, because again, you've seen that with NC State's ability to be able to score, you see yet another turnover gives Coppin an opportunity. This is a 16-point game.
10th turnover for NC State. Coppin with a little momentum. Not what Kevin Keats is looking for defensively. Justin Steers rocks the rim. Protecting the paint, brought to you by CPI Security. Attack the rim at your own risk, Reynolds.
And again, we've talked about NC State and their ability to be able to create good offense from their defense. And you've seen right there being able to come up and say, Ross, saying, you know what? Your request has been denied. There will be no soup, no candy. Put the kids to bed. Protecting the paint by CPI Security.
He didn't really speak, but all those things were going through his mind where you just said it.
Absolutely, you can tell.
Word for word.
He was emphatic with that.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Go night-night. But going to break, then we talked about this Coppin State team. They have not gone away. I mean, as much as you think that NC State has dominated this ball game, Coppin State, again, down 16. An opportunity. You see the blow by Sessoms. And again, what he has done, again, is he has countlessly put the pressure on the NC State guards by being able to get downhill, go for his offense, get everybody, and keep them in this game.
No Ernest Frost in the game there to protect the paint. Joyner in the lane, defended well. Almost throws it away. This will be a key stop for the Coppin State Eagles. But Tarkel Joyner has the answer.
That is strong because, again, when you watch him be able to explode to the basket, to knock down the threes, again, the lost art of the mid-range, being able to get to a point and get that separation.
Sessoms again in the lane. Finds Steers. Sessoms wants it back. And he played the Big Ten for Penn State. Kick out pass. Battle missed it. Another offensive rebound. Blue throws it up. Nope. Morcell pulls it down. Wolfpack dodged a couple of bullets there.
They did.
Smith finds the spot, puts it in.
And see, if this is what's going to make this North Carolina State team so good, when you've got a guy like Taquavion Smith that you can just give him the ball and he can go get you a bucket. This is one of those things when teams go on runs, you can give him the rock and that'll be able to get him a bucket and then hold a run.
Another miss from the corner, but on the offensive glass, Nendon Tark lays it in. Second chance bucket for Coppin State.
Tark just hanging around there again. As quickly as we talk about NC State come up with a basket, then you see Coppin State still hanging around.
Not going away. DJ Burns going to come back in next. Whistle for the Wolfpack. Step back, Smith. Tip won't go for Clark. Sessoms tried to go behind his back, recovered, and then Morcell gets a piece of it.
Good defense by Morcell.
Joyner for Smith. Mahorcic goes down hard, keeps it alive. Mahorcic is down as Smith scores.
You see Mahorcic down on the ground right there. Looked like he hit his knee.
With the injuries to NC State big men through the years, this is not something you want to see, and goodness gracious. Dusan Mahorcic. Uncomfortable after this awkward landing. The looks from his teammates on the bench nearby illustrates the level of concern.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough when you see one of your teammates go down like this.
You just never know, as a player, as a fan, when something like this could happen. And look, maybe he'll be okay and be back on the field in a couple of minutes. Obviously, that's what we're hoping for. But initially a scary scene, amplified just by the reactions of his teammates. And Mahorcic, in a short time, has ingratiated himself on this roster. That you were talking about the chemistry earlier, Brian. This is a closely knit team, and they're going to take the media timeout for under 12 right here as they continue to look at Mahorcic, who's in considerable pain, holding Kevin Keats' hands. Timeout. This was moments ago. A standing ovation for the grad student from Belgrade, Serbia, Dusan Mahorcic. He did put some weight on both legs, but clearly something's wrong.
Well, and here's the thing that's devastating for this team is the fact that this is a guy that plays hard. And when you got a guy that plays that hard, you see him go down, it's definitely got to be an emotional thing for his teammates. 12:41 remaining here in the second half, and NC State
has an 18-point lead, although it does not feel like he's put Juan Dixon's bunch away. DJ Burns back in the game, and Jaquavion Smith is going to the line. Brian, Smith and Joyner have scored all 16 of NC State's points here in the second half.
Well, and again, they've needed them because slowly Coppin State has been able to chip away at this lead.
We're going to be joined here momentarily by the legendary Derek Wittenberg as Coppin State cans a three. Good shot for Christian Sutton from the corner. Back to a 16-point game. We're joined by Wolfpack royalty, Derek Wittenberg, guy that probably has gotten a few free meals in this town.
Oh, I'm looking for my NIL deal.
There's still time. What's it like coming back into this building, watching the Wolfpack play and seeing all these fans again?
Well, we have the greatest fans in the country, I believe, and it's hard to believe. It's 40 years, and these fans still appreciate it so much. And I love these fans. I love our supporters, our teammates. What a special moment and a special time in my career here.
D-Witt, you talk about the fact it's been 40 years, but it doesn't seem like it's passed that long. Can you just remember just that run that you guys had that year? How magical was it winning the ACC tournament and then going on for that magical run to eventually win the national championship?
Well, it started right here, guys, when we scored 130 points against Wake Forest before we went to the ACC championship in the tournament, and we won our senior game right here in a blowout fashion. So this Reynolds Coliseum was the momentum for us going into that ACC tournament in the NCAA.
An incredible run as a double dribble called on DJ Burns. You guys were 16 and 10 and then won your final 10 games. Look at the monitor here.
Wow, I didn't play in that game because I was hurt.
Right.
That was the Carolina game, and Ernie Myers came in and took my place, did a terrific job. I came back later at the end of the season against UVA, and we lost to Maryland here at home, and then we won that Wake Forest game, my last game right here in Reynolds.
When you look back at that team and the fact that you guys, I mean, you were explosive, and you were labeled the Cardiac Kids. Talk about some of those games and some of the competition and just how well balanced your team was.
We played the #1 team in the country.
Oh, man. Jack Clark. How about that for Jack Clark? Talking about being able to get back in the game. How about that when it gets you going?
What a play by Clark. We played the #1 team in the country that year, guys, 7 times. And the ACC was the #1 conference in the country at the time, and had the great Michael Jordan on Carolina's team, and Ralph Sampson, 3-time player of the year. What a great league, a lot of great competition. And prepared us for the NCAA.
Now, D-Witt, I know that you can shoot it, but you could never jump like that, man. Ooh, how about Clark going up?
I love that, Clark.
You call that going to the upper room?
That's called slam.
I was going to say reminiscent of D-Witt's old school athleticism.
Old school athleticism, 1978, won the slam dunk contest in Baltimore Civic Center against Gene Banks and Albert King.
Now, I'm going to date myself. Was that during, like, the Capital Classic days?
Yeah, Capital Classic days.
You know what? Like I said, you and I were standing in the same line right there, and I remember following behind you, man, that just watching you guys in that backcourt with you and Sidney Lowe, then having some guys like Jose McQueen, Thurl Bailey. I mean, you guys had a lot of talent then. You talked about some of the competition and some of the great schools you played against. Kind of help us relive just not only that run, but how the competition was for you guys in the ACC.
Where everybody stayed in school. Ralph Sampson stayed for 4 years. Jordan stayed for 3. We had great talent, but everybody knew each other, and you had senior-laden teams that played together, that wanted to win. Remember, Carolina won the national championship in '82, and we came back and won in '83. So great competition, but veteran teams that played together and stayed together.
Incredible times in the ACC. We see the footage of that great pass to Lorenzo you had as time was winding down. People don't talk as much about the double overtime game against Pepperdine that you guys had in round 1 to get by.
Oh, man, that double overtime game. Sidney Lowe fouls out of the game. I played with Sidney for 7 years, 3 in high school and 4 in college. I didn't know how to play without him. Sidney wasn't in the game. And luckily, George McClain and Ernie Myers came in and did a great job. And We snuck that game out. No shot clock, no three-pointer, guys. We came back and tied that game up with the best free throw shooter maybe in the country, Dwayne Settle, for Pepperdine. He missed 2 one-on-ones, and that's how we came back and won that game.
Meanwhile, we got an 11-point game here as Sessoms hits the three. Chatting with Derek Wittenberg, reminiscing about old times. What is it like when you come together with all your old teammates at a game like this?
Well, we did something that was special that we never forget. You know, our coach is not here, but his spirit is here. Jim Valvano, spirit is always going to be with us. We're celebrating 40 years, but that's a special group of guys. We stay close together. We keep in communication, and it's nothing. When you do something as special as winning a national championship, it's memories forever, guys.
You talk about still extending contact with each other. Is it true that Jerry Gannon is still upset with you for not passing on the ball on that last shot of the championship game?
Well, he ought to know better. I'm not a passer. I'm a shooter. I'm a two-guard.
Let him know, D-Witt. Let him know.
You should know something about that.
I know that, man. For those that don't know, D-Witt, like I say, you're here for the buckets, not for the assists.
Absolutely. You got to know your role, right?
Absolutely. Stay KYP, know your personnel.
Big block by Burns. Loose ball picked up by Clark.
D-Witt, let me ask you this. As you look at this team right now, what's your assessment of this Wolfpack team now as you've seen them in this early non-conference play?
Very capable. I like the guard play with Joyner and Smith. Big guys are coming along. I think that as we learn each other, because remember, this is still a brand new team.
Yep.
And we still trying to gel.
Oh, my.
We're trying to come together, find an identity. But as we grow, we got a chance to really have a really good season if these guys keep playing together and working hard together and playing hard.
An awful lot of attention for Taquavion Smith. But how about Jarquel Joyner? As you say, nice pass by Burns to get Smith in. What's your thought on Joyner in his game?
Joyner, you have to have a good point guard. You have to have a good quarterback in football. And that's what Joyner is. He's an excellent quarterback. He knows how to run a team. He's got confidence. He shares the basketball. I love Joyner's play so far. He's getting better and better. He's going to be a key for us having a really good season.
Been a wild last couple of minutes. Again, Coppin very much within striking distance here. And Sessoms, oh, he missed the layup. He gets it back. And he puts it in to make it a 10-point game with 7 minutes to play.
I mean, as we've been sitting here talking, I mean, Coppin State has still been cracking and been really scrappy here. Did you see the little quick take foul?
Well, their coach, Juan Dixon, was a heck of a player himself. National champion, played in the NBA. His team is not going to quit. They got excellent guards. They got a whole lot of guards. We got to continue to keep those guards out of that paint.
D-Witt, it's awesome to be able to see you, man. Thank you for coming to see us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Seeing you,
Just hanging out with Wolfpack royalty here courtside. We got a game, 6:51 to play. 74-64, NC State leads. Great fun hanging out courtside with Derek Wittenberg. He just showed me a text on his phone. David Thompson was watching, said, great interview.
Oh, wow. So, talk about the human highlight reel.
Yes, indeed. One of the greatest to ever lace up the sneakers. Meanwhile, Sam Sessoms is keeping his MEAC team in the game here.
And we talked about it, Ev, is the fact that we thought that NC State was going to run away with it. And you see in the last 3 games, 28 points, 62 field goal percentage, and 5 dimes, 4 rebounds. He tonight has single-handedly been able to bring Coppin State back into this game as they've cut this lead down to 10.
Yeah, 8 assists, just 2 turnovers for Sessoms, along with the 24 points. Big possession here. Morcell takes it, missed it. Battle for the board. Jack Clark with a hustle play. And the foul is going on Coppin.
So when you look at Clark going after that rebound, this is one of the things that Kevin Keats talked about. He does not want his guys, if they're not shooting well, to let it affect other parts of the game. You've seen him continuously play hard, continues to go out and hit the boards. That's one of the things that he wants his guys to be able to do.
Foul on Battle, his second. Smith pull up, short, tip, wouldn't go. Another try from Burns, comes up empty, but he's fouled. Wolfpack have had like 6 chances this trip down the floor to get points.
Well, you see DJ Burns being able to muscle his way around there to keep that possession alive.
Not shooting foul. Tark picks up his second. Wolfpack inbound under the bucket. Smith for Burns. Another foul on Coppin. This time it's blue.
But how do you guard Smith? Because again, if you back off of him, then he shoots it from downtown Raleigh. But then if you get up on him, he's allowed to be able to swing through. Again, Juan Dixon has done a good job of being able to sub his guys in and out and be able to maintain pressure. And he talked to me earlier about it. Say, hey, Brian, if this thing gets down in the gut of the game, I'm confident in our half-court defense. Right now, again, with Smith going to the line for 2. Excuse me, 1-1.
Yeah, rare free throw miss there for T. He's led the Wolfpack in assists each of the last 8 games. He's leading the way with 5 assists so far tonight.
As much as we've celebrated NC State and their ability to be able to score and get transition points, they have not been able to find an answer to being able to contain Sam Sepson. And again, Sessoms has been able to get to the basket and break them down at will.
Might be headed toward another Ken Pom game MVP with the points and the assists. Although Jaquavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner can make their own case to be the top star tonight. Burns has size on everybody. Sets up Smith, passes up to 3, sets up Joyner, who knocks it down.
The play was set up by Burns. Again, he threw the ball, and the first thing he did, he looked to the weak side, getting the ball over to Smith. Smith penetrated, moved the defense, and allowed Joyner to be able to come up with that knockdown 3.
6th assist for Jaquavion. 27 points for Jarkel. One of the dynamic backcourts in the ACC. Combining for 55 points tonight. Clock winding down. And the bailout foul goes against Burns.
Again, talking about possession. Watch Burns barely realize, go to the opposite side. Smith realized, hey, if I go ahead and bring 2 guys, kick it out, get Joyner a wide open 3. And again, you say, hey, come on, let me hear it. Let me hear it, you all. Let me hear the love.
I mean, this is Jarkel Joyner's first ever game in this building, which is still the home of Westmore's NC State women's basketball team, the 3-time reigning ACC champs who knocked off the Georgia Bulldogs last night. Heck of a start for the Wolfpack women. They're back in the top 10 again.
Still plenty of time, a little bit more than 5 minutes. And again, you'll see NC State make good plays, but again, look at the fact that first half 3-point shooting, 10 for 19, second half, 2 for 8. Coppin State done a much better job of being able to force NC State into contested shots.
10 to shoot, 5 minutes in the game. Joyner, short. Oh, Clark rips it away. Morcell from the baseline.
And Evan, those are the 50-50 balls again that don't show up in the stat sheet. We talked about Clark not having the best offensive night, but being able to give your team another possession, especially when you're going back, that's got to be huge for them.
And how about Jack Clark? He's 1 for his last 15 from the floor, but he's impacting the game in so many other ways. Coppin State continues to be that annoying gnat of an opponent that just won't go away.
Again, watch, nobody puts a body on Clark. He comes in there, hustle plays, and then being able to get the ball over to Morcell. Nice little soft jumper. Being able to get it again, those are the things that Kevin Keys talked about. He wants to see his guys still be able to stay and contribute if you're not scoring.
DJ Burns just called for his 4th personal foul. Justin Steers knocks in the free throw, makes it a 10-point game. Burns is out, Ross back in. Timeout Coppin with 4:36 to play. Certainly the Wolfpack losing one of their key rotation big men in Dusan Mahorcic, with Burns picking up number 4. You think about that. Upcoming schedule for the Wolfpack: Saturday at Miami. And Furman Vandy still winless Louisville here in December, which is stunning.
Well, you look at the next 5 games and then, wondering if they're able to pull this out. I mean, this is a favorable schedule. That Miami team, Jim Larenega's team, is one of those teams that can finish up in the upper echelon. And then when you look at this Foreman team, again, Vanderbilt, and then talk about Louisville, my old Philadelphia 76er teammate Kenny Payne, I feel like it's just a matter of time before they get their first win. But for North Carolina State, that next 5 games is something that they can get through this one and go down and play well against Miami. They may end up being a team that could be ranked in the top 25.
Visions of returning to the big dance for the first time since Coach Keats's first year as the head coach of NC State. Still work to do tonight, though, against Coppin State.
Again, we were celebrating NC State in the first half, and, they were going off with the threes. Again, Coppin has still been able to fight back, and, and they've been able to go blow by blow. Again, a little less than 5 minutes. For your NC State, you got to be able to make sure that you still stay what you're doing, touch the paint, and then you got to get some stops. Coppin has done a good job of being able to touch the paint and get the ball and break down the guards and get to the basket.
Wolfpack ball up by 10. This is as close as it has been since very early. So Wolfpack created separation early, led 40-15 in the first half. Jaquavion Smith to the basket.
Oh, man, what a blow by.
He's got 30.
And here's what Coppin State has to do a better job of. When he comes up that pick and roll, Steers has got to step up. When you allow Smith to be able to go and get downhill on you, he's shown that he's athletic and he can finish at the rim. Got to do a better job on that pick and roll. I would trap it.
Nice pass. And a foul called on Ross after the bobble from Tark. Kevin Keith doesn't like the call.
You see Smith being able to turn the corner, be able to extend that lead to push the Wolfpack up 12.
There's a look at your game summary with 3:55 to play. NC State has led by as many as 25. It's a 12-point game right now.
Well, you look at the combination between Smith and Joyner, combined 57, already 10 threes. But what it's allowed Coppin State to get back in this game is that Simpson has been able to break down the defense, 24 points and 9 dimes. Interesting to see how this thing finishes out. And also, Steers has been a guy for Coppin State that's come up big in the second half.
2 free throws for Nenda Tark, former MEAC Rookie of the Year, now in his 3rd year for Coppin State. And goodness gracious, free throws have been better for the Eagles in the second half, but they still have missed 8 of them in the game. And Reynolds Coliseum crescendos.
No free chicken right off of that one. Big possession for North Carolina State. Love that high pick and roll action. Being able to touch the paint.
Crowd never gets louder when there's free chicken on the line. To the bucket, Joyner. He's got 29.
And what you've seen is when you got 2 guys in Joyner Smith that you can put them in a high pick and roll screen, allow them to be able to get downhill. That's one of the things that's a go-to, especially in the gut of the game when you need a bucket.
Sessoms gets it right back, and an offensive foul called on the screen before the shot. And Steers just fouled out.
Again, we were talking about when you need to be able to go to a person get a basket. You see again, Joyner being able to navigate and finish right at the rim to be able to extend that lead. And on the other end, you see Steers right there, and a lot of times turning right there into the man. And you know what? That's going to be a foul because you got to be able to hold that screen.
15 points, 6 rebounds, 22 minutes for Justin Steers, whose night is done with 3:21 to play.
If you're Coppin State, it's emphatic that you have to get a stop right now. I'm North Carolina State. I stick to the script. You've had 2 plays where you've run that high pick and roll and being able to have your guards turn the corner. You stick to what's working.
Coppin State is out of timeouts. Smith for Ross for 2.
But here's the thing. Smith that last time recognized that they opted to double team, no rotation. You had a wide open Ross. Good vision by Taquavion Smith being able to get the ball over for an easy lay.
7 assists tonight for Smith to go along with 30 points, 5 rebounds. And there's a steal.
Again, solid defense by Clark. You know, we talked about the fact that has not had the best offensive night, but I like the fact that still stayed engaged, coming up with rebounds and good defensive plays.
Second steal of the night for Terquavion Smith. Sessom's called for the foul. And Jack Clark to the line, who's had a better night than his 1 for 7 shooting suggests. He's got 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and some huge hustle plays for the Pack.
Where if you're Kevin Keith and you're showing your team this game film, you highlight these things from Clark, letting them know that, hey, you didn't have a great shooting night, but you still stayed engaged on different parts. You talk about the 50-50 balls, being able to come up with those offensive rebounds, being able to come up with the steals and the defense. Those are things that are definitely integral as far as being able to win ball games.
1 for 2 for Clark. Do the Eagles have one last gasp? Clark now with 10 rebounds in the game.
And if you're NC State right now, you run your play. Clock is your friend. You're up by 16. You exhaust a little bit of shot clock, and you go that high pick and roll because, again, it has shown. Or just go ahead and just shoot it from half court.
Why not?
When you got a guy that's got a touch like that, you know what? Just say, run a little clock and then just go for yours.
33 for Terquavion Smith. And NC State gives away the rebound. It's the 3rd career 30-point game for Smith. He had 30 against Florida State, 34 against North Carolina, both those games last year. He's got 33 tonight, including all 3 of these. I
mean, look at the dagger from almost half court. You can tell he's like, yeah, buddy. You see it come out. What a night for Terquavion Smith. Excuse me. But he has been amazing. 33 points, 7 dimes, 5 rebounds, and then 6 threes. Already a season high. Somehow I think that he's probably going to eclipse that before the season ends.
I'd say it's likely he crosses over 1,000 points in his career by the end of the season. That's tough to do in 2 years. He's on track to do it. Step back jumper good for Cameron Blue. 7 points for Blue, but a 17-point deficit for Coppin. Coppin State team stays in the state. They go to Greenville to play the East Carolina Pirates this weekend. Malik battles in disbelief over that foul call. Malik Battle, by the way, didn't play at Georgia Tech, Brian, but he played at South Georgia Tech.
I did see that. I did see that. Close, but no cigar.
Georgia Tech, by the way, in a battle tonight with the Georgia Bulldogs. Final minute of the game, Tech leading by 1, 78-77. Casey Morcell, not a huge night, but a solid night. 7 points, 5 rebounds, couple assists, 34 minutes. It has been Smith and Joyner doing the bulk of the scoring. These 2 guys have combined for 62.
And I thought it interesting. We talked with Kevin Keats earlier in pregame. He was interested to see how his team was going to respond to that last loss at home against Pitt. And I think that he saw a lot of good things. Obviously, it's always good to get the win. But how they came out and they were able to be electric with their offense and their defense. And then in the second half, when this good Coppin State team was still there, they were able to respond, get some stops, and be able to close out this game.
Quick hands from Ross. He's racked up the steals and blocks as Clark dishes it over to pass. L.J. Thomas looking for his shot. He scores.
Thomas is another one of those guys, again, good finisher at the rim.
Timeout called by Kevin Keith just to get some subs into the game, and here come the walk-ons.
And here are the fan favorites. You know, if you want to hear this crowd get loud, these are the guys that, again, that get a chance to get a little burn. Now you're going to hear every time one of those guys touch, shoot, shoot.
Chase Graham, KJ Keats, Alex Nunnally, and Jordan Snell all into the game for NC State. Evie Duana gets a couple minutes here at the end as well. There's a steal for Chase Graham. NC State going to be 29-2 when Chase Graham plays. They should play him more often. And turnover stepping out of bounds there for Snell, the son of Steve Snell, who's the director of operations.
Kevin Keats over there encouraging his team to continue with the pace. And a lot of times you want to see these guys be able to get an opportunity to play, and always a fan favorite to be able to see them score.
Unless they get a quick shot off here, the shot clock is going to be off by the time they get the ball. NC State made 9 threes in the first 10 minutes of the game tonight. Graham, deep three. Duana's stick back won't go. Out of bounds off Coppin. Wonder if Kevin Keats will let him shoot here. There's still a 3-second difference between the game and shot clock. Can a walk-on get on the board? Duana's not a walk-on. Duana to the bucket, and he'll get fouled by Daniel Titus. Don't forget, doubleheader coming up on these regional sports networks tomorrow. 2 really good games. Cornell and Miami have 2 losses combined so far this season. Hurricanes are really good. Championship contenders in the ACC, in my opinion. And then the 9 o'clock game, Tiger tussle at Little John Coliseum. Preseason CAA favorite Towson taking on Clemson.
That's going to be a really good game. You talk about Towson being good, and then Clemson, one of those teams that's off to a really good start. B.J. Hall starting to get into rare form.
3 won't go. Final seconds here. Wolfpack improved to 24-2 in this building since the turn of the century with a 94-72 win over Coppin State. With so many Wolfpack legends in the house, Terquavion Smith adding to his Wolfpack status. 33 points for Terquavion Smith. Jarkel Joyner added 29, and the Wolfpack close on a 13-2 run. Thanks for being with us tonight from Raleigh. For my partner, Brian Oliver, and our entire crew, Evan Lepler saying good night